Mr. Winders, does it bother you when you see students graduate from high school and they don't have basic literacy skills needed to enter college?
It is something I think about often. I would enjoy seeing all graduates attend some type of post-secondary institution, but I realize all kids will not choose this path. It would be progress if our graduates would, at a minimum, be prepared for the workplace.
Progress? Most definitely.
One of my friends, Kyle Jones, owns a local auto body shop. Last week, he was discussing with me, a young man who stopped by for a job interview. Kyle decided to let the applicant attempt some troubleshooting to diagnose what was wrong with a vehicle, so he opened the glove compartment and found the owner's manual to give to the kid. Kyle was flabbergasted by what happened next.
What happened? Did the young guy diagnose the problem right away? Was your friend impressed?
Sadly, the kid couldn't even read the owner's manual.
You can't be serious. Some manuals are written on leg-size levels that upper elementary age kids should be able to read. If you don't mind, meet me in your classroom after school. Ask the rest of your science team to meet us there. We can continue this conversation about the Common Core standards. I want to discuss more in depth the impact these literacy standards will have on student learning in the science classroom. Thank you for joining me. Mr. Winders and I were talking earlier about the Common Core literacy standards in science. Earlier, he had some reservations about implementing them into his classroom instruction. Hopefully, after our discussion, I can alleviate any concerns and get everyone on board.
Earlier, I was telling Mrs. Collins about a young man who came to my friend's auto body shop for a job interview. He couldn't even read an owner's manual for a vehicle.
Something must be done.
I'm on board, as long as it doesn't mean more work for me.
I agree with Ms. Simpson.
Before you make any hasty judgments, let's get back to the young man Mr. Winders was talking about. What do you think happened, sir?
I don't know. Maybe he just fell through the cracks of academia. What can I say? I don't foresee circumstances improving in the near future.
I disagree. Remember last year, Kentucky was the first state in the Union to adopt the Common Core literacy standards. These standards were created for a purpose.
That purpose being what, exactly?
The purpose that individuals need to be prepared for the real world. Our kids need to be ready for college and workforce training programs. The common literacy standards are cross-discipline. In other words, they give us a shared responsibility. You will all be integrating reading and writing into your lessons. Most importantly, the standards in this document are research-based, designed from feedback and collaboration between school administrators, teachers, and experts in the field.
Oh, great. Just one more aspect for me to have to worry about. I'm a science teacher. If I wanted to teach reading and writing, my emphasis would have been language arts. Mrs. Collins, why are you even concerned with us integrating these anchor standards into our lesson plans? No offense, but I have a few more years' experience than you do. I have witnessed fad after fad, trend after trend. This is no different.
I disagree. These literacy standards are here for the long haul. For the first time in a long time, I feel our state is on the right track. Kentucky is finally looking at the bigger picture. In addition, if, as a school, we don't integrate these standards into our classroom instruction, we will be breaking the law. Because Senate Bill 1 emphasizes college readiness expectations.
You seem to be sold on the idea of common literacy standards. What do these standards encompass?
Well, let's first look at the college and career readiness anchor standards for reading. The first three standards emphasize key ideas and details.
When my students read sections in the textbook, they really struggle with identifying the main idea of the paragraph.
I totally understand, Mr. Douglas. My kids have trouble with supporting details.
When I ask my students to summarize, they simply want to write down 3 or 4 sentences verbatim.
So, what are some examples of targets we can present to our classes?
Well, let's see. Mr. Douglas, didn't you have your 8th graders conducted an city lab last week?
Yes, I did. They determined the density of various solids and liquids.
Then students analyzed how events and ideas developed and interacted over the course of a text.
They did it by following a multi-step procedure, taking measurements, and performing other technical tasks by using the triple beam balancing graduated cylinder. Wow! I didn't realize by doing what I normally do that I was fulfilling a reading standard for literacy in science.
Last week, I used a thoughtful head organizer to help break down the main topics of the energy transformation chapter. Apparently, I was also integrating these standards.
It appears as though each of you is starting to realize you are already implementing some of these standards into your science lessons. Now the key is to just make a conscious effort to consistently work the standards into your daily lesson plans.
Maybe I overreacted a little too hastily.
Trust me, it was not so long ago that I was in the classroom. I understand the pressure every educator is under and the amount of time it takes to plan quality lessons.
The Toolbox resource book from Thoughtful Ed has many excellent resources that we already use to help students practice and develop deep understanding of science concepts. I use the visualizing vocabulary strategy, and my self-expressive kids love it. Mrs. Collins, I don't mean to be rude, but I meet with my science club students in just a few minutes. I really need to go.
That's fine. Please go. I'll fill you in on everything you missed.
Thanks. See you guys tomorrow.
You fellas are getting the hang of what this is all about. Now, where were we? Standards 5 and 6 deal with author's structure of the text and the purpose for writing.
Okay, I'm a little confused. You said author. Did you mean the authors of our science textbooks?
I am talking more about expository text articles. Before you panic, I have already been working on finding resources for some of your department's science articles. Spigot Magazine is a valuable online resource. The list goes on and on.
It sounds like a great deal of time and money have been given to this initiative.
Oh, it has, but Senate Bill 1 stated professional development has to be provided to assist teachers with the transition. The time is getting late. Let's finish up. If you focus on technical information being expressed in both text and other multimedia ways, you will hit on Standard 7. 8 and 9 have your students distinguishing between facts and reasoning in research. In addition, comparing and contrasting results from experiments, simulations or other media services. Finally, number 10 emphasizes the level of text complexity. If you are having difficulty determining the lexile level of an article, you can go to www.lexile.com. You can copy and paste portions of the article into a text box on this website.
Mrs. Collins, it is getting late. If it's okay with you, we can begin talking about the writing standards during our common planning time tomorrow.
Sure, I will bring a fantastic resource I received at a training. The book is called Writing in Science. It has many science writing frames to help you get started.
See you both tomorrow.